到了找人聊天屋的时候。最近蓝的的那个交易量也是上升，对吧？
Hey, I think we are live.
Live? Yes.
We are live.
Okay. Thank you everyone for joining us. And
大家晚好，又到了
blink of an eye, and we are already on Tuesday again. Tuesday, and so every week on Tuesday, 8 to 9 o'clock, we have this Facebook Live, and we will discuss mainly on commercial properties, and in particular commercial shophouse, right? Shophouse in Singapore. And so before we start, same drill, please like our page and share this link. I just had coffee with someone this afternoon. She said somebody sent her a link, and she just come in and she found this very interesting, and she took part in our Kahoot, and then she actually came in first, and so we had coffee just now, and so it was quite interesting. We actually talked everything about the Singapore economy to the recent transaction, from politics to education, and there were a lot of things to talk about. I think also a fellow PropNex agent. So so you never know, someone might find this interesting, someone might find this useful. So like our page and share this, and also right after our Facebook Live at 9 o'clock, this video will be uploaded, and then it can be watched at your own leisure. But those people who join in with us right now, those are the people who's going to take part in our Kahoot quiz later on. We have some questions for you, interesting questions for you that's related to what we are talking about for this session. And then you also can win a chance to have coffee with one of us. Yes. Okay,
我还没有跟 David 喝咖啡。
Oh, David is our last week winner.
Yes, David.
I see. Okay, Gracelynn.
好。
Gracelynn.
听得到吗？OK。那么今天呢，我们就会继续上周我们停留的那个方案，就是讲到我们购买店屋的那个流程。那么谈到消费税呢，当我们买店屋的时候，需支付消费税的时候，通常我们都会建议就是说跟买家商量啦。就是说买店屋之前呢，先建议买方先考虑用现有的消费税注册的公司来进行这个购买的流程，因为这样子呢，我们才可以索取那个消费税。那么如何去取回这个消费税呢？当然的，如果没有一个就是注册的控股公司来进行购买的话，当然会建议买家先注册，那么使用 GST 注册的这个有限公司来购买，来实行那个意向书。那么
Hey, Gracelynn. Actually, 等一下actually after that, then we will talk about GST. So maybe let me start the session first. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So good evening, everyone. Yeah, welcome to our Tuesday weekly Facebook Live on Shophouses. Yeah. So actually, the reason why we are doing this Facebook Live for Shophouses especially is mainly because there's really a lot of inquiry. Actually, we have gotten which a lot of people are asking us about shophouses, about zoning, about all the necessary change of views, F&B, primary conservation, secondary settlement. There's so much thing that this shophouse are talking about. So a lot of people are asking. So that's the reason why myself, Gracelynn, and Helen, we want to actually came out and share, to as much people as possible, really to add value to everyone here, so that you guys can actually, make use of this knowledge to connect with anyone, be it your friend, be it your client, be it of anything, or you guys, if you are looking to invest into a shop house. So this is something that this topic that we will be covering is very important, because what are the things for you to take note first before you even purchase a shop house. So last week generally, okay, so before I go into the actual topic, can you guys actually do us a favor, help us to like and share this page? Okay, so everyone who are listening now, kindly also pay attention, because you know why? At the end of the session, we will have a Kahoot, we will have a quiz. So whoever actually gotten the highest score will have an opportunity to go with us, either myself, Helen, or Gracelynn, either go for a viewing for a shop house, or we can have a coffee session. Okay, you can choose one of them. Okay, so if okay, then I will start sharing. Okay, Helen. Okay.
Yes, thank you for the summary. Yes, Richard can go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so this is our beautiful background. Our every Tuesday let's talk about commercial shop house. So generally, again, I just go into okay, last week generally for us, we have covered three important points. The very first point will be we cover about the so-called the zoning. We cover about the zoning. Okay, what type of zoning? Can foreigner buyer buy what type of zoning? And how about the commercial residential zoning? So ABSD, is it apply on the commercial zoning? So all these things we have covered. If you guys has missed a session, you can actually go back to our last week Tuesday Facebook Live to actually view the session again, okay, at your own time. Okay, but these are the sessions that we have covered. We also covered primary conservation and secondary settlement. So this is also a very important thing that if you are a buyer, what are the things to take note? Are you buying? Are you looking into the primary conservation, or are you looking to do redevelopment, which is secondary settlement? Okay, so these are the things that you need to know. So same thing, if you have missed a session, go to our last week recorded Facebook Live. Then, of course, after that, we are talking about root line reserve. So root line reserve will be something, it is very important, especially along main road. If there is a root line reserve, so what are things that you need to take note? Are you going ahead to buy the shop house? Or do you know how many percent of this root line has cut into the land? So these are the things that for you guys to take note, which is important before you even start to look into the shop house. Okay, so these are the sessions that we have covered. So we also continue our third session on on the GFA. So when you buy a shop house, okay, so are you looking at the built-in GFA, or are you looking at the land size per square foot? Are you looking at the GFA per square foot, or are you looking at the land size per square foot? So we also cover on this portion last week also. That's why whoever has missed a session, again, just go to our last week one. So after that, the last one that we covered the recent transaction. Okay, how to look at shop house value. How much do you think you should offer a shop house? So just now is related to what we have shared. Are you looking at the transaction, which is the land size, or are you looking at the GFA? So these are the things that we have shared last week. But today we will not be touching all this. But today we are going to cover the next important things that we will be covering today. So the very first topic that we are covering will be GST. Okay, GST. Okay, to set up an investment holding. So these are the important information that for us we want to also share. So I will hand over to Gracelynn. So Gracelynn, are you ready?
Yeah. OK， 大家都可以看得到这个画面是关于尽管是买商业或工业的那个房产呢， 当有 GST 就是消费税需支付的时候呢，我们通常会建议买家就是注册一个产权公司来持有这个店屋。那么有时候呢，那些业主呢，当他卖店屋的时候是以个人名义的话，当然我们不需要注册一个公司来索取 GST， 就是消费税了。那么当然的税率呢，在于就是租金回收的时候，个人的所得税上限呢，最高是高达至22%。那么合规的要求呢，就是简单的会计和税务的报告。那如果说注册一个投资控股公司来持有跟购买店屋的时候，当然的，我们就是可以索取那个7%的消费税。那么我们的租金的回收的前30万呢，就会被征收那个税务。那因那个税务的收入的那个八仙率是以8.36%的。那么公司的税务最高是上限为17%。那么主要就是那个合规要求呢，是公司需遵守准则哦。那么如何去跟我们的那个税务局呢索取回这个 GST？就是当我们提交这个意向书的时候，购买店屋的之前，我们先建议买方跟考虑是用现有消费税注册的公司来进行购买整个流程来索取那个消费税。当然的，如何去取回这个消费税呢？当然就是使用这个消费税注册的有限公司来购买，以实行那个意向。那么购买期权之前呢，先与 ACRA， 就是我们新加坡注册公司 ACRA 先建立有限公司，之后才能跟我们的税务局索取 GST。希望大家听得懂哈，听不懂哈，我可以翻译一下，又或者是上网看。我知道我们大部分的新加坡人听我讲的时候会听不懂，但如果从内地又或者是从香港或台湾的话，他们应该听得懂我在说什么。所以我们新加坡人，我们可以以英语在线直接索取这些资料。
Maybe I add on a bit, Gracelynn. Okay. So if you actually buy a commercial property using company name investment holding as what Gracelynn has shared, okay, there's another very important factor why you should use investment holding instead of personal name to buy a commercial property. The reason why is because if you own the shop house, for example, when you buy this shop house, you set up an investment holding, you own the company. So, when next time you want to sell the property, you can actually sell away the whole company to the next buyer. Okay, that is another good point. Of course, to the seller, if you ask me, seller when sell, because okay, as everyone know, this is only applicable for commercial. If you talk about residential, if you use a company, you sell the company, the buyer also need to pay ABST. But for commercial, it's different. Okay, for commercial, if you purchase using investment holding to purchase a commercial shop house, when you want to sell away the property, you can actually sell away the company together. So the next buyer who actually purchased the shop house only pay a very small amount of stamp duty, or consider a fee, an admin fee of approximate 0.2%. It is not even 3%. If we talk about a 10 million shop house, 3% is how much? 3% is 300,000. So you just imagine if this buyer purchase this shop house or purchase this company, they only pay a very small fee of approximate 0.2%. It's a huge saving, if you ask me. Okay, so that is something that this is one of the advantage if you purchase an investment holding to actually own a commercial property. So there's another very important factor, if you ask me, if you are using an investment holding company to purchase a commercial property, is if you want to add another partner, example, you have a 21 years old, a son. You want to add the son into the company. Yeah, it is so much easier to add a share, a so-called a company director into the company, which you don't need to pay a stamp duty by adding another shareholder to the company. Okay, the costs are so low. It's only a small fee, a small fee of admin fee to add in. Or if you want to remove a name, you can also just remove the name of the shareholder out. So this is so much flexibility in terms of using an investment holding company to purchase a commercial property, especially shop houses. Okay, so these are the things that I want to add on. Yeah, Gracelynn, I'm done.
我也是把消费税，这一节已经谈，就是跟大家分享了。那么下来呢 ，Helen 呢就会跟大家分享那个租赁的那些细节，是吧？
对。
Helen 的麦好像是没开。
Yes, so thank you, Gracelynn, for the detailed explanation on GST and whether it is claimable. So if you have further questions, you can always type in our Facebook link, and then we'll try our best. We'll do our best to answer your questions. We can see we are also keeping a tab on the link and your comments. So if there's anything that you want to ask, there's anything that is not clear, or or there are other questions that you think you would like us to cover, you can always make a comment. And then we'll do our best to answer it. Okay. Yeah. So right now we go on to the tenancy agreement. Okay. So our topic, just to recap, right? Our topic is about investing into a shop house. So we invest in a shop house. What has the tenancy agreement got to do with shop house? Or is it something that we can ignore? It doesn't really matter. So when we are advising our client, part of the things that we need to look at when we buy the shop house is whether the shop house has been rented out. Okay, renting out, because that forms part of your yield, your rental yield. Although for shop houses, we don't look for very good rental yield. What we were focusing on is really the capital appreciation. However, the tenancy will also affect, have a bearing on how much, like how long can you keep this for, and keep this property for, and how long, what kind of rental, what kind of price you're going to fetch later on. All this actually has a bearing on it as well. So for the tenancy agreement, as we know now, the interest rate ranges between maybe 1.7 to 1.8. Maybe if you can get a rental yield of maybe 2% or 2.1 even, that will actually give you a very comfortable buffer to cover your mortgage payment. If you are not looking at rental yield, then there are other things that might be relevant when your new buyer looking at a potential new buyer looking at this as an investment vehicle. They will also look at the tenancy agreement. So, like for example, you want to know the length. You want to know the expiry date. For example, if the tenancy is being rented out to say for example like Starbucks. Okay, wow, very good tenant profile. Okay, they will take care of the place. There will be added in this value to your shop house because it's a reputable tenant. Then the next thing you want to look at is the length. Is it going to expire soon? So if you buy over the shop house now, thinking that you have a quality tenant, but if the expiry is going to be in 3 months' time, by the time you complete the sale, maybe this tenant, are they going to renew or not? Are they going to stay in the premises? Okay, that's something that you need to consider. So the length and expiry, and then is there a renewal clause? For example, if it's going to expire in 3 months' time, is there a renewal? Are they going to renew? And then when it comes to renewal, there are something else you want to look at also. So whether there is it going to be renewed at a market rate, or is it going to be kept at 10%, for example, right? So there are several things that we want to look at. So I think to be clear, we must first understand that everything is subject to agreement. Okay, tenancy agreement, we don't want to take for granted, because they always say, oh, it should be in the tenancy agreement, it should be in tenancy agreement. But we must know that tenancy agreement is subject, everything is subject to whether it's written down or not. You see, just to give you a very far-fetched example, in this tenancy agreement, they say the lessor must provide birthday cake for the lessee on the weekend closest to their birthday. Okay? And vanilla cake is not acceptable. Okay, it's very far-fetched, but can this be included in the tenancy agreement? And if it's included, is this enforceable? Okay, I can tell you, this one, as long as the landlord agree, the tenant agree, they both sign the tenancy agreement, and there is an exchange of money. In this case, there's a transfer of money from the lessee to the lessor. Then it is an enforceable agreement. It's actually an enforceable agreement. So what will happen if the lessor or the landlord in this case forgot or failed to provide a cake on the weekend closest to their birthdays? Or they do provide and they provide a vanilla cake. Is that a breach of agreement? It is a breach of agreement. This is just a far-fetched example, but what I'm trying to tell you is everything is subject to agreement. So long as both parties agree and they have this particular clause in the agreement, it is enforceable and it forms part of the tenancy agreement. Okay, and then so tenancy agreement has basically conveys the rights and responsibility of both parties. Okay, I know tenancy agreement is meant to protect both parties, but very often it actually skews towards one side or the other. So do not take things for granted. Do not think that, hey, tenancy agreement all the same one. It's actually not true. We have to find out. Okay, there are one very common questions that we get is, hey, when this light bulb is spoiled, who is supposed to repair? Who is supposed to replace it? And is that bad enough for me to terminate the lease? All these things are actually stipulated in the tenancy agreement. So when we are buying, if you are ready to buy a shop house, our advice to our clients is always ask for a copy of tenancy agreement and take a look at the tenancy agreement before we commit to the sale. So this one, very often the lawyers will be the one who do this. They'll be one to take the tenancy agreement. If you want to be very careful before you even pay for the option before the grant option, you would already request for a copy of the tenancy agreement and run through it to make sure that there's no extraordinary agreement there that might catch you by surprise. So these are the things you want to look out for. And then other things that we want to look out for is the right of re-entry. Okay, why is this important? Very often we get inquiries, very often we get phone calls and say, hey, my tenant did not pay the rent. What can I do? Can I just go in and change the lock? Can I just go in and chase them out? Can I just go in and throw all their things away? The right of re-entry is not a given. It is not true that as long as you have a tenancy agreement, you can re-enter if there they fail to, if there's a breach of agreement, including not paying the rent on time. This has to be stated in the tenancy agreement. And I have to say, unfortunately, a lot of tenancy agreements do not have this clause. So if you do not have this clause, you can only just write letters, give them phone calls, go down and bang doors, bang table. You can probably just get a lawyer to sue them for the payment. But it does not give you the right to go in and repossess the premises. Means you cannot change the law, you cannot chase them out. Can you imagine if you have a tenant using your premises and they refuse to pay rent and they actually stay there for 3 years? What are you going to do? Because if you fail to have this clause, right of re-entry in your tenancy agreement, the landlord actually cannot do anything. It's very sad and it's a very sticky situation if you have tenants that won't pay and then landlord cannot go in. There's really nothing you can do. And this is something very, very important. So this is one of the things that we will look out for when we are buying a premises with tenancy, and then it's subject to tenancy, and we want to make sure that there's a right to re-entry in event of breach. Okay. So then option to renew. Okay, so we discussed it just now. If lessee is not in default, they have been paying on time, they can renew. And then renewal can be 12 months, can be 6 months, can be 24 months, can be 36 months. So again, this is subject to agreement, subject to negotiation and then agreement. And then terms and condition, is it going to be exactly the same, or is it going to be prevailing market rate, or is it going to be capped at an increase of 10%? Okay, the increase of 10%, why is this important? For example, during this COVID period, there are some premises that has been vacated and been empty for maybe 3 months, 6 months. And so when the landlord is in a situation where they are a little bit desperate, they will actually lower the rent. So we've heard cases where it's used to rent out at 20,000, and now they're willing to take a tenant at maybe $8,000 or $10,000. That is like a 50% discount. If there's a 50% discount, and if that tenant came in at a very low rent, already at 50% discount, and they have a good agent, like one of us, what will we do? We will tell them, hey, landlord, we want to have additional renewal terms for 3 years, and it must be kept at an increase of 10% only. Means this 10,000, the next increase can only be 11,000. It cannot be more than 11. But what was the market rate before? The market rate before was at 20,000. So if you have this clause capped at 10,000, it means even if you renew, you can only go up to 11,000, and then the next renewal, you can only go to 12,100. So it actually limits the how far it can go up. However, if the landlord had a good agent, like one of us, guess what will happen? Then we will tell them, oh, cannot. That means the option to renew, it will be at the renewal term, and the monthly rent will be at the prevailing market rate. It means 2 years or 3 years later, when it comes to the renewal and the market recovered, everyone is happy, everyone is going out to eat, and everything is back to normal, then the rental would more likely than not go back to the 20,000 rate or more. And when it comes to renewal, you can actually charge 20,000 again. So it really depends on how you negotiate. Right? When it comes to negotiation, it's actually very important. So when you are a new buyer coming in, you're buying this over this shophouse, and the shophouse is subject to this tenancy agreement, then in the tenancy agreement, it really depends on which one is in favor of the landlord and which one is in favor of the tenant, because these will actually affect the price of the property that you are buying. Okay, so these are just a few things that we want to talk about and we want to cover, and they are very important, right? You must agree with me. These are actually very important points. Okay, and I have finished my portion for the tenancy agreement. I mean, there are more things we can keep talking, about
non-stop.
every single details. But these are the basic things that you must not miss when you're buying a new property. Gracelynn，也可以翻译。
其实那个租赁哦，其实在前2周的其中一个周二吧，有跟大家分享过整个租赁的那些整个流程跟细节。我相信他们也是可以回顾之前就是 replay ，yeah。那个整个租约那些细节，但最主要的就是当买家又或者是我们同行有买家想买店屋，随时可以联系我们哦。我们会跟大家一起分享。那么尤其是在就是在现场的时候，我们应该是不会缺场，反正我在脸书上会缺场，讲话有点口吃。那些细节。还是不习惯。
Maybe I add on a bit more on the tendency, especially when this buyer are buying this shop house for own use. You may want to take note, because if you buy for own use and there is a tendency, in the tenancy agreement there is an option to renew for another 2 years. Example, what Helen has mentioned, the increment is 10%. Yeah, in this type of case, I think the chances of, if you ask me based on the contract, the chances of the tenant to renew the tenancy is quite high. Okay, so I'm not sure, if you ask me, usually this our case, we will, maybe the buyer may want to check and see whether, can this clause of check with the tenant or so on. Because if the buyer want to buy at own use and there's an option to renew for another 3 years, then what do you think about the buyers? The buyer want to buy and the option renew another 3 years later, so they are not able to use it. So these are the things that you may want to take note. Helen, what do you think? Yeah.
Come again. You said the question is,
especially when I think he was sharing about, assuming if the buyer is intending to purchase for own use and there's an option to renew.
Okay, so if you are buying for own use, number one, if there's an ongoing tenancy, you cannot terminate unless it is provided for in tenancy agreement. There are some tenancy agreement that say both parties giving appropriate notice, you can actually terminate, but most of the time it doesn't. So again, subject to agreement, you must look at the tenancy agreement. And then the second thing is, if there's an option to renew, then it's a bit difficult for you to wiggle out of it, unless it says there's a tenancy, the tenancy option to renew, subject to prevailing market rate or subject to agreement. There is a chance that you can negotiate and have asked for a higher than market rate rent. And then actually, if you own the shop house, you want it for your own use, but if the rental can be much better, and then you can maybe rent somewhere next door, and if you pay 20,000 and this one you can rent out 25,000, why not? So you just rent this one out for 25,000, make the 5,000, and then you go and rent next door. You can still use the shop house, and then you can always come back. You want to renovate or do something else, you can always come back later on after the expiry of the tenancy agreement. It actually makes economic sense, right? Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, these are the important information that, if you are buying a shop house, these are the things that you need to take note on the GST investment holding, whether you are using GST or investment holding, or you are using personal name or investment holding to purchase. So, so the next thing that we are going to talk about will be on, maybe I will share my screen first, then I will continue.
There are some questions here. We haven't really answered them yet.
Okay, what is it?
From Don, he says, for individual buyer filing for a company, would it be better for them to start a company to purchase? And then commercial loan, okay, this one has been answered. Commercial loan is slightly higher than residential interest when it comes to interest. But individual buying a company, would it be better for them to start a company to purchase? So maybe Richard, you want to answer this question?
Okay, so the question is to use a investment holding to purchase, to buy a shop house, or to use personal name, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so as what Gracelynn has shared, always use a commercial, okay, always, I repeat, always use an investment holding company to purchase the commercial property. There's so much advantage, right? That Gracelynn has already shared with everyone on the taxes.
Yes.
And I did add on another few more key points that actually you can sell away the company. Okay, you can also add another shareholder into the company. It is so flexible. So always so-called set up an investment holding company to buy a commercial property. So this is the answer.
Especially when GST is payable, highly recommend the buyer to consider register the holding company first before entering into the option to purchase. This is very crucial, yeah. Okay, because some owners, they may not want to have an add-on money. No doubt it is okay to have it. And okay, likewise, if let's say the customer already have an existing GST registered company, they can actually use that company to make the purchase and then claim the GST thereafter. So how to set up the private limited company? So we can actually register that with ACRA, as what I've shared in Mandarin earlier on, and the purchase of the shop house by using the GST registered company to enter into OTP, the option to purchase, then we exercise, and GST is only claimable thereafter. Hope this clear.
Okay, there's another question now. How long does it take to set up investment holding company?
Yeah, to my understanding, what I know is approximate around 1 week, 1 week to approximate 2 weeks time. I think it should be settled. If you want to get the names out, it is within days. But of course, if you talk about incorporate a GST, it will take a while. It will take a couple of weeks. But as long as you have an investment holding, you can actually use the investment holding to put it into the option to purchase. Yeah.
There are some corp-set company that have ready registered company that you can just buy off the shelf. You just choose a name that you like. Yeah, then that one you can do it like within 1 or 2 days, right? Yeah, but then GST registration, then you will still have to go through the normal procedure.
Yeah.
There's one more question. Can landlord choose not to renew upon receiving a higher offer above 10%? I'm not quite sure what you mean. I'm just guessing here. You're saying that if the rental is capped at 10% and the offer is actually higher than 10%, can the landlord choose not to renew? That would be very interesting because if it's capped at 10% and the rental offer is more than 10%, of course I'll take if I'm the landlord. If I understand your question correctly, I suspect I'm not getting the full picture here. So maybe you can type your question again for this Lim. Then we can try to answer it. Yeah. Okay. So I think Richard, you can go on to your segment.
Correct. Yeah. I will cover this. So this is another very important things that you guys need to take note. Okay. Same thing. When you want to buy a shop house, if your intention is to buy this shop house and you want it to be in F&B, okay. So you need to take note when you buy. You need to check with your salesperson. Okay, example. Okay, this particular photo that is inside the so-called the slides is at Serangoon Garden. So if this unit you are purchasing is not a F&B now, and your intention of buying this shop house in this location, Serangoon Garden, you want it to be in F&B, and you thought that you can actually do the change of view to F&B. So it is not. Okay, so important, you need to check. Okay, there is a newsletter. Okay, with URA. Okay, maybe Helen later you can ask whoever want the newsletter. You can actually key it inside our comment box. Say you want to have this newsletter that we will be sharing now. Okay, so let me continue first. So these are the locations. If you mention location where additional eating house in talking about shop houses, okay, will not be allowed. to do change of use. Example, location like Balestier Road, East Coast Road. Okay, East Coast Road, they are talking about where? Steel Road to Telok Kurau. So they have a specific street that these locations are no longer able to change of use to F&B. So this is a very critical, information that you need to know before you purchase. If your intention is to buy a shop house with F&B, okay? So we move on, like location in Macpherson Road, okay? Upper Paya Lebar Road, River Valley Road. So these are the high congested area. So that is the reason why this location no longer issue, so-called they have a problematic of traffic area. So if you look carefully, like Kampong Glam, okay, which our last session we did mention about Kampong Glam. So Kampong Glam no longer able to do change of use if the shop house currently is a retail shop now, okay. And move on, we have Little India, which is okay. Little India, just take note now, everybody. Serangoon Road, Jalan Besar, and Kitchener Road. So these are the 3 streets in Little India. If you are buying a shop house with F&B and currently is not, you are no longer able to do change of use. So move on to the next one. Okay, so this is something that I just highlighted, Balestier Road. I just give a few examples. So you see, this letter from URA stated that, Balestier Road along this stretch, you see, there is a line that actually draw in red color. Okay, so it's between Thomson Road to Mon Min Road. So these are the street that, you're no longer able to do change of use. So what happened if it is currently a F&B? Yes, you can continue to use it as an F&B. But if it is not an F&B, if you want to change of use, stated here, no longer able to do. So remember, so this is another street that is a very popular, so-called the Eatery Street along Tanjong Katong Road. So he said between Diamond and Mountbatten. So it's from here all the way to here. So the shop house are along this stretch. So shop house along this stretch, if you are not an F&B, that's it. You are not able to do change of use because they restrict any more license, any more F&B license already. Okay, so you guys understand? Okay, so let me stop share first. So if you guys want to have this, so-called the article from URA, if you guys don't have, actually you guys can actually type into the comment box, say that you want it lah. Okay, maybe you put your name there. Okay, then maybe, or I'm not sure how Helen, they can either, you guys can either text us or what, or we try to send it to your salesperson, to any PropNex agent also can, so that you can actually get a copy from us. Okay, but maybe you want to type it into the comment box, say you want first, then maybe we see how can we send to you.
I think they all know how to contact us.
Okay.
Yeah, they will have our telephone number, so
yeah.
you can contact us WhatsApp and we can send it through WhatsApp to you.
Sure. Yeah. So this will be the things that we will be this will be the last thing that I feel is one of the important things that we need to take note. Okay. So basically we have shared many things. So generally these are all the checklists. I will say these are the checklists. Checklist is important because if you want to, it's not like buying a residential. Residential generally is quite straightforward. But to buy a shop house, you need to know exactly what you need to check. Okay, that we have covered 2 Facebook Live, 2 hours. So really, I know that it's not going to be easy. But of course, if you guys have any question, you guys can contact either one of them, myself, Gracelynn, and Helen. You can check with us more. What are the things you want us to share more? You can always call us, no problem. Okay. So if okay, what is next, Helen?
Yes, it's now the exciting Kahoot quiz time. Yay! So this is our PIN number. The PIN. So you can come in either if you have the Kahoot app, you can just come into the Kahoot app and key in this PIN 3674732. You can buy 4D. And then if you do not have the Kahoot app and you're using a PC, you can come in at www.kahoot.it and then key in the game PIN 3674732, and we will be able to start the game. So if we have more players, everyone, you're welcome to play. The winner. So Richard, what would the winner get? You are muted, huh?
Yeah. Our last few Kahoot, generally we have a few winners. Example, one of the winner is Fabian. So actually Fabian follow me for a viewing, for a Shophouse viewing. Okay, so we also have another Mr. Heng. Mr. Heng actually also have a coffee session with who? With Gracelynn. Yeah, so yeah, basically we will be sharing on all the, talking about Shophouse, we're talking about all the markets. So generally we can share anything on Shophouse. And Helen also today actually has another coffee session with who? NG, I think.
NG, yes.
NG, yes. Very good.
Yeah.
And I still owe David.
Oh yeah, David, did he contact you?
Yep, already.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
yes, good. We have Jerry 8484. And then Dawn, we need more people, please. Everyone, you're welcome to join in the game. The more the merrier. So we need more people. You come into our Kahoot game and stand a chance to win a free coffee or free viewing with any one of us. Yeah. So we need more people. Come on, yes, good. We have Steve. Is there anyone else? Need more people to join us.
How many questions are there, Helen, today?
Sorry?
How many questions?
We have 10 questions today.
Okay, very good.
10 questions. Okay, good. We have David Koo, we have Heng, and maybe Heng can get another free coffee. Yes, ED. Okay, Ed. We have Ed. Yes. Can we have more people? Can we have a couple more and then we can start the Kahoot game? You will be very excited.
I think 6. Sometimes it's like 6, right? Maximum. Because at times they will get kicked out, you were saying.
Some get kicked out. Like yesterday morning when we have our training, we have
still okay, right?
30 something, right?
Yeah.
That one. I think there shouldn't be a limit. If there is, should be much higher. So we can take a few more. We are 12 minutes. We're left with 12 minutes. Shall we start now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we will start now. You can still come in. You can still, if you're still trying to log in, you can still come in halfway through the game. Or if you're kicked out now, don't worry. You can come back and can resume. 3674732. Okay, commercial Shophouse quiz. We have 10 questions and get your fingers ready. The first question is, are foreigners eligible to own a shophouse along River Valley Road? River Valley Road is a shophouse along River Valley Road eligible for foreigners.
Okay. Those who recognize this shophouse, 这个好像在哪里呢?
Foreigners can buy any kind of shophouse, or no, because a shophouse is residential component, or yes, with permission from LDAU, or yes, subject to approval from URA. So which is it? Is it a yes or is it a no? If it's yes, which one? Okay, so River Valley Road. We don't have a correct answer, unfortunately. But River Valley Road has residential components, so foreigners are not allowed to buy. Okay, unfortunately. Okay, so we go on to the next question. Are you all ready? Next question. So we don't have correct answer. The scoreboard will be the same. Next question is primary conservation shophouses. What must we do before we may increase the number of floors? Okay, do we apply to increase the plot ratio, or do we check the approved use, or do we write in to appeal to URA, or none of the above, because there's no way to increase GFA for primary conservation shophouse? So yes, we have one.
Wow.
Good. This
so
guy
fast,
Yeah, and pay attention and know what Richard has been talking about in the previous sessions. Okay, so yeah, so when it comes to primary conservation shophouse, there is no way, we cannot increase. Okay, we just cannot increase the GFA. There's no way to do it. So, oh, Jerry, congratulations, Jerry. You are the leader in our scoreboard. So let's go to the next question. Quiz number 3. Do we incorporate an investment holding company before the issuance of an option or after the expiry of the option? There are only 2 answers here. Okay, you cannot take too long to answer this.
And I repeated in Mandarin and English just now.
Yeah, 大费唇舌跟你们解释，你们到底有没有听？Okay, so before the issuance of option or after the expiry of the option. So which is the correct answer?
Wow, who is the one who got it right?
Oh, there's one person that got it right. Very yes, person. Yes, pay very good attention. So before you issue the option, you should have the investment holding company so that they know the option, which name to issue to when it comes to the option. So you need to have the investment holding company ready before the issuance of the option. Wow, it's Jerry. Sure win already lah. You see, you're number 1 on the scoreboard. You're 1,295 points, and the rest, you're panjan, is it? Because you had coffee before already, so you're panjan, right? I think we all can still try again, huh? Okay, no need to give chance, huh? What does ACRA stand for? ACRA, we keep hearing ACRA. What does it stand for? Is it Accounts and Corporation Regulatory Authority, or Accounting and Corporate Regulatory Authority, or Authority of Corporations and Accounting, or Authority of Corporate and Accounts? So which one is it? We have answer in all colors. Okay.
This is a good one. Who was it?
Accounting.
I've been using this accounting and corporate.
What do you think it is, Gracelynn?
I suspect Jerry.
Coffee from me. What do you think it is? Very likely Jerry. Donovan. Okay, Donovan. Good. Okay, now you're just 300 points behind. So if you get the next question correct, you can actually win this game and get another coffee. Okay, 5 out of 10. Who may apply for a floor plan from BCA? Who can apply? Is it the agent? Or is it the buyer with consent from owner? Or is it the owner's next of kin? Or the owner's parents? Okay, agent, or the owner's next of kin, or the buyer with consent from owner, or the owner's parents. Who can apply for a floor plan from BCA? Good. We have 2 correct answers today. 2 correct answers. It's buyer with consent from the owner. So so to get a floor plan from BCA, you just need the owner's consent, authorize the buyer to get it, get the application, the form in. Okay, so the correct answer is buyer with consent from the owner. Let's see. Wow, Donovan, good. Now you are in the lead at 1,718 points. You are about 500 points ahead of the next person. This person is Jerry. But Jerry, don't worry. If you get the correct answer at the first possible second, you get 1,000 points. So you can easily overtake Donovan. And Heng, you are at number 3 at 785 points. Okay, so if everyone's ready, we shall go on to the next question. And our next question is, what to do if you cannot get a floor plan from BCA? So if you cannot get a floor plan from BCA, what do? You engage a qualified surveyor, or you engage an interior designer, send a measure for you, or you engage a professional photographer, or you engage a conveyancing lawyer. Which one is it? Oh, good. We have 3 correct answers.
Wow.
Okay, this one, I think it was Gracelynn, right? We covered this in our previous part 1 of this session.
Yeah.
If you cannot get a plan from BCA because some of the shophouses are just too old, then you get a qualified surveyor to do a measurement for you. There's another way is to get a valuer, and the valuer will actually do the measurement for you as well. Okay, so good. We have 3 correct answers. Let's see the movement on our scoreboard. Yay, Jerry!
Wow.
Number 1 again, 270 points ahead. Next one is Donovan, is 1700 points, and then David, you are 870 points. Oh, David, you improved from number 5 to number 3. Okay, so our next question number 7, true or false? The buyer may terminate an existing tenancy agreement upon purchase. Okay, it means you can just suka say, no, I don't want to rent to you anymore, I'm a new owner. So is it true? True because he's a new owner, he can terminate as his wish, or false unless the tenancy agreement provides for it. See who pay attention to what I said just now. Okay. Good. 3 of you are paying attention. Why would I have 2? Okay, 3 of you are paying attention. So tenancy agreement, unless the tenancy agreement provides for it, you cannot terminate as and when. Because tenancy agreement is an enforceable agreement. So let's take a look at the scoreboard. Wow, Jerry, you're a very good student. You've been paying attention. So you are in the lead at 2,600 points. So Donovan, you actually chose the wrong answer. I can't believe it. Okay, so we have last 2 questions. So don't worry, each question carries 1,000 points. If you can answer correctly and quickly, you may get up to 1,000 points. So our next question is, GFA of primary conservation shophouse may be increased up to the plot ratio. This one we're talking about primary conservation shophouse. Okay, it's another trick question. Primary conservation shophouse. Yeah. So,
Aiyo, 陰公咯.
Wow, 陰公啊. Okay.
So it shows that buyer need agent.
Yeah, that's right. Agent also need agents.
Yes, they need us.
Okay, primary, I repeat again, primary conservation shophouse cannot increase GFA. Primary conservation shophouse cannot increase GFA. Only secondary settlement can increase. Okay.
There's no ratio in
remember our names and our telephone number. The rest you don't remember, just call us. Okay, let's look. Let's see who has been paying attention. Who's at number 1? ED, Ed.
Wow.
Yay. Good, good.
Very good.
Yeah. Wow, you improved like Ed. You have a streak of 3 correct answers in a row. That is very good. Okay. At 1,881 points, you are ranked at number 2. Jerry, you're still number 1. Okay, with 2 more questions. And let's see what happened after this. Okay, GFA of secondary settlement. Secondary settlement may be increased up to the plot ratio. Yes, provided the facade remains, or false, secondary settlement cannot be rebuilt. This is secondary, pay attention, secondary settlement. Wow, good job. Okay, at least 4 of you got it right. Yes, provided the facade remains, so you can rebuild to increase the plot ratio, up to the plot ratio, increase the GFA. Okay, so primary you can increase. So let's take a look at the scoreboard. Okay, Jerry, you are in the lead still at 3,353 points. Donovan at 2,600 points. Ed, you're number 3 at 2,500 points. So, wow, Ed, you're very good. You have 4 correct answers in a row. Okay, now we're coming to the last question. If you had joined us in our previous Kahoot, you will know that I am a very kind person. I will give you a 送分题 at the end. It will be a bonus question. With even the answer is bonus, is already there. So you cannot get it wrong. So pay attention. Put your fingers at the keyboard. Okay, get ready. The next question is, what is Gracelyn's surname? How can I get it wrong, please?
I think not many know.
Yeah, hey, come on, please. It's either Chu or Chu or Chu or Su. The answer is under your nose. Please get it right at this time. No correct answer, please.
Oh yeah, hi, I saw it.
So what is it? Ayo! Gosh.
Who's the one?
Only one
It was
correct.
on the board. It was on the board. There's
So
only
who was
Good one. It's a good
only
one.
one correct
Oh.
answer. This person deserves to have the coffee from Gracelynn.
So who was that?
Who is that? Let us see. Oh, we don't know. We don't know who it is. Okay, so Donovan, you're number 3. Yay, good job. And Ed at 3,200 points. And number 1 is the one with the number. Jerry 8484. Jerry. Is Jerry the one?
Wow.
Is Jerry the one who I think Heng got your surname, is it?
Yeah. Hi, Chance.
I think Heng got a surname. So yes, Jerry, congratulations to Jerry 8484. I don't know who you are, but if you would contact any one of us and arrange to have your coffee or your viewing session with us. Okay, so time flies. 1 hour is up.
Wow.
It's
So
already
fast.
9 o'clock. So again, next week on Tuesday at 8 o'clock, join us again. And we will have something new and something exciting to share with you about commercial shophouses. And again, when you go to the link, you can like the page and share it with your friends, because our video will be up and be available after this, and anyone can watch it at their own leisure. Just that they cannot have the free coffee because no Kahoot. Yes, so Gracelynn and Richard, do you have anything else to say?
Yeah. So
Gracelynn,
I'm sure everybody enjoyed with this Kahoot game, right? Because after every session, they stand a chance to have a free coffee session, or meet up, even join us for viewing. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Actually, anyway, we come to the end of the session. So basically, this session, let me just highlight, which is one of the most important. We are talking about the checklist. Okay, before, if you want to buy a shop house, what are the things that you need to take note, and what are the pitfalls? Okay, so all the things that we have shared over the last 2 sessions, last week Tuesday and this week and today, basically. So these are the 2 sessions that we have been sharing. So yeah, just go through again. If you have some question, you can ask either one of them, Gracelynn, Helen, or myself. Okay. So without any more question, then we can end our session. Helen.
Yes. Thank you everyone for joining us. I see you again next week. Bye.
Bye.
下周2见哦。